What's up, everybody? So here's my hands. Ooh. All right. So I got all this stuff in my hands. So I guess this is a review, and this is my review of the Walkera Runner 250 Racer. Guess this has been kind of a long time coming because I've had this for a while, and I've just kind of been putting off the review. I have so many other reviews that I'm behind on, and the dogs are playing, so you might get some barking in the background. There's the puppy. So, all right. So This review is going to be a little bit different because this is a brushless racer. This isn't a toy quad, so a lot of the stuff I talk about with the toys, I don't really need to talk about with this because, rates, as far as the rates go, this one is adjustable. You can, well, here, let's, let's just talk about it real quick. So here's the quad, the racer, and it has fairly thin main plates. It is carbon fiber and then plastic legs. There's a few plastic components to it, but most of it is carbon fiber. The arms are pretty thick, so I don't, the arms aren't bad. It's not the thickest, but you can see how thin these main plates are, though. The battery plate and the main plate up here, not real sturdy. It does have lights front and back, which is pretty awesome. If a lot of the racers and stuff don't come with lights, and you can add them though. So this is the package 3, which means it has the camera, the transmitter, and the OSD module. So the on-screen display module is in here too. All right, so how to do this review? Let's just talk about it. So a lot of people, if you're into racers, this isn't something that you would pick up if you're already building them, or maybe something you'd want to test fly just to see what it's like, but probably not something you're going to buy if you're building them. If you're new to brushless, or you want to get into FPV, these are kind of marketed towards like beginner FPV flyers, or just beginners, not really flyers, but beginners in the FPV or brushless hobby market. So it's pretty good for that. This was actually not this one, but the Runner 250 is the first brushless racer that I ever flew. So I was familiar with this before I got it, and there's a lot to like, especially if you're a beginner or just getting into FPV. And then there's some things that as you grow as a flyer, as a pilot, you'll probably wish and you had a different one that you built. So it's a little bit heavy. They give you this huge battery. This 2200 milliamp hour 3-cell lipo, and this thing is already kind of heavy compared to like other racers that I have. It's a little heavy, and that battery doesn't help. I've flown this with smaller batteries, and it's a little better. Because of the weight, though, it does slide a bit in turns. But you do have the power to get yourself out of pretty much any situation. If you boost throttle, even when you're sliding, it'll start going forward faster. It's got really big, powerful motors. I actually really like these motors. I was considering if I could get the focused. If I was actually considering just getting some and to run on a build, a different build. They're 23. Oh no, they're 25, 2500 kV. So they spin faster than the other brushless motors I have on my other racers. They're small, thin profile, real nice. I have crashed this thing spectacularly many times, and I know a lot of people complain about it being kind of fragile. I have had no damage. The only damage I've had besides props breaking is this antenna broke off, but it was fixable. I didn't have to buy a new module or anything, but it did break off. The crash was pretty awesome. It looked like this thing just exploded, and the props exploded. High speed bank turn around a tree. Yeah, had a little bit longer branches than I thought. That was all in FPV too, so the spin out was just crazy in the goggles, but no other damage. Oh, well, the antenna. That broke too. You can see that. So, but these are like super cheap, a few dollars to replace the antenna. And, I have not had any range issues with the little broken shards that I have. So I haven't replaced it. And I've taken this out pretty far since then. So this thing's super powerful. These motors are nice. I like them. I think the biggest complaint that I have for this is the flight controller isn't, all that great. You can hook it up, and Walkera has a little software thing that you can use, and you can adjust the PIDs, and you can do a little adjustments, but it's nothing like a NAS 32 or a CC3D board or any of the 32-bit open source flight controllers. Those ones have hundreds and hundreds of options, and you can fine tune it in any way. But this one has some options, and I guess this is like tuning a Ford, and then a NAS 32 or something is like tuning a Ferrari. So that's not great. But if you just want to fly this on weekends, if you're not going to get extremely into the hobby, you want to go fly FPV every once in a while, I say go for one of these. I don't think they're bad. I have 6 racers now, so I can compare this to those and my flight experiences. Like I said, this doesn't fly as good as the ones I've built with really nice flight controllers, but it flies it's really fast, and it comes complete out of the box. Everything is plug and play, like everything. ESCs, motors, all the flight board components, the transmitter, the OSD module, every single thing is plug and play. Everything, even the camera, even the lights, all of it is plug and play. So that's kind of a plus. Maybe it is a little fragile, but man, you can fix it so fast, like literally no soldering involved. If you build other racers, there's a lot of soldering involved and there's a lot of like tucking wires, and that's another thing. Because it's all module, it's very neat. Everything is so neatly tucked away, and it's just clean looking. Like I said, it's got lights too, red and white lights, red in the back. This one will flash in LVC, although the programming for LVC on this it literally comes on after like 4 minutes or something. That's another, kind of weird, bad thing. Like, I don't know what's wrong with that. Like 4 minutes is supposed to get, they say around 15 minutes of flight. So 4 minutes and it starts blinking. It's not a very helpful thing. I was told that it was supposed to be fixed in an update, but I updated it and it didn't fix it. So, also, this was very well known for what they call the flip of death. So what was happening was the motors on one side were spinning a little bit less than the motors on the other when you dropped throttle. When you fully dropped throttle and then gave it and then pulled it back up. So on that pull up, these motors would start up slower and cause it to flip and crash. And a lot of people a lot of people crashed and broke their quads brand new right out of the box because they didn't know about that. And then so that's really bad. That's not a good thing to have in your programming Walkera, but they did fix it. There was a fix, a workaround with so you adjust the throttle trim and stuff. But now the update does fix it, so all the motors will, once you arm it, will continuously spin, and so you won't have that. Because if you drop it all the way low, the motors won't completely stop. They'll be at a little idle rate. So they did fix that, so that's good. So if you do get one of these, make sure you update the firmware as before you fly it, because it could have the old firmware where that flip of death is in there. So plug it into your computer, get the little software from Walkera, and update the firmware. If you buy one of these, make sure you do that before you fly it, just so you don't have any trouble. So let's talk more about the good. The good is that like I said, it's all mod. It's all got little components that plug and play. It comes with the camera. It comes with the transmitter. It comes with lights. It comes with a Devo 7. So this isn't a Tyrannus. Yes, I know. It's not, but this is a very nice radio to come packaged. Most of these racers that you get that are like ready to fly or assemble and fly, they come with a little bit less nice radio. This radio is very, very nice. No, there's no telemetry built in, no touch screen, there's no scrolls. But if you're just starting, this thing is awesome. This thing is very, very nice. The controls are nice. It's precise. It binds to a bunch of different Devo receivers, and you can have, I think, 25 or 30 different, aircraft or whatever you want programmed into this. I have 5. I actually use this radio with my other racers. I just bought a bunch of Devo receivers. That being said, too, I have a different transmitter on the way, not because I don't like this, but because I've advanced a little bit and I need more. But I like this radio a lot. I think this is a plus for this quad. Honestly, I think this radio is like a plus because, like I said, most of the ready to flies or whatever, they come with a radio that's not as nice. They're not horrible, but they're definitely not as nice as this Devo. So very nice radio, modular design. It does come with like this a little instruction booklet, which you might at first I kind of laughed getting an instruction booklet with a racer, but it's pretty awesome for especially if you're a beginner, because like racers like these that you build and stuff, they don't come with any instructions. So if you're new to the hobby or don't know what's going on, pretty nice to have this. I bought a ready to fly like a ZMR 250 clone or a blackout clone, whatever it was, and it came in a box and battery, everything. You could plug it in and go fly it, but there was no instructions. So I mean, anybody who has no experience with the brushless or whatever, and this is pretty helpful, I gotta say. And it's really nice. It actually tells you everything about everything you really need to know about just getting this out to fly. But you can literally pull this out of the box, put the props on, plug the battery in, turn on the radio, and fly. There's no if I would recommend updating the firmware, but you don't have to if you're brave enough. Maybe Walkera only ships them with the new firmware now. I'm not sure. The camera is adjustable. It's on this tilt, so you can tilt it. I don't know why you'd want to tilt it like that, though. But you need to be sure that you tighten the swing bolt here, because if you have this camera fall down while you're flying FPV like that, you're not going to be happy. But just make sure it's nice and tight before you take off. That's the most upward angle you're gonna get. I find it's okay most of the time. If I'm going real fast, I look at the ground a little bit, but for the most part, it works. That angle, I think it's probably like 25 degrees or 20 degrees, which, as you advance, that's definitely not going to be enough. But like I said, you know, you can change that, put a different camera on, or move up to a different quad, And oh yeah, it does have these self-tightening props, so you don't need to have bolts or anything. These props are actually kind of nice. I've flown them on a couple other quads. I think they're 45 degree. They're 50-45s. I like these. You only get one set, but you do get a set. You only get one, no spares or anything like that. You do get software for, here's the battery, and you do get software for the Devo, and you get some plugs. You do get a balance charger with this too for the battery. And you get a bunch of little tools, Allen keys, and a little wrench, like literally everything. This box actually opens up. Let's just get the camera like this, and it's all like a carrying case. So you can put your extra batteries and your charger. The props go up there, and then tools and your radio and everything. So they did a really nice job of packaging it. I appreciate that. Racers generally don't come in any kind of package besides some shrink wrap or whatever. So it's nice to have that box. It's literally a carrying case. That's how I take this places. So very nicely packaged. I don't hate this one. I like, my racers are my favorite quads, absolutely, and I fly this one still. I still fly it. I bring all of them with me when I go, and I take a run with pretty much everything I have, and I still have fun with this. Is it my favorite? Nope. No, it's not. Mainly because my favorites are the ones I built, because they make me happy because I built them. But do I like this one? Absolutely. I think it's awesome. Great motors, good lights, fast, bit heavy, a bit slidey in the turns, but more durable than I thought it was going to be. Absolutely more durable. Like I said, the crashes that I've had in this are crazy. All four props broke, but nothing else, not a single thing besides, like I said, the antenna here and this antenna here. But I knew those were going to break eventually. So, I'm just trying to give you some info on it more than review it. So let's go take it up, and I ain't going to show you rates, but I'm going to show you some flying and what it can do, and we'll call this a review. Well, I got it balanced pretty good.
He's like, holy fuck, that thing's fast. Lucky. You still haven't taken it very far away from you yet.
That's a lot farther than I normally fly. Oh, the wind's catching it up there a bit. That's so much farther than I fly anything.
Yeah, they just say something like I'm bad at it. That's so cool.
How's that? Better?
Mm-hmm. There's the LBC.
Ooh!
Lucky? Lucky. Are you gonna land it?
No.
No.
Alright, I should land it now. I'll land it now. Alright.